and on the threshold of really great things. Over here we have David Pegg, a great personal friend, David, who also from Yorkshire, from the mining communities, and a very, very good left-sided player. We had Albert Scanlon, left winger, Tommy Taylor, the centre forward for England at the time, Dennis Viollet, really, really good goal scorer. Billy Whelan, who was from the Republic of Ireland, terrific dribbler, good goal scorer too. And Ray Wood, goalkeeper at that particular time. All in all, they were the best young team in England without question, and would have been the best team in Europe too, had things not happened.
Manchester United began work on regaining its mantle under Busby's leadership and with Bobby Charlton's talent.
It was really very difficult because I was only a footballer. I'd been thrust into this great big cauldron of problems that were at the club. And it was the transition. It was the transition of. You could never forget what happened, but we had to try to win. We had to try to become a great team again. I think that was what Matt Busby conveyed to all of us, that we had a responsibility to the people that had died, that if we ever got the chance to win the Champions League, which was called the Champions League now, it was called the European Cup at that time, then we had to go for it. It was important that the club Manchester United survived, because there was always the chance that maybe, if things were so tragic that the club would go under because of not being able to have any success. But fortunately, the team reached the final of the FA Cup that year. New players were brought in, and what happened to me was that things happened very quickly. Instead of week by week me coming down day by day to Manchester United with all the problems, I was lucky. I got away. I was selected to play for England.
Charlton's prestige soared during this transition. He was selected for England in the World Cup in 1962 in Chile and became one of the team's key players.
The quarter-final was against Brazil in Viña del Mar, just north of Valparaiso, and we played really well. We played really well against Brazil, and everyone thought that Brazil were the favourites. But they had a little winger called Garrincha, who scored with a tremendous leap from a corner kick, and he headed the ball. We had a big lad called Maurice Norman who was about 6'3", I think, and Garrincha, who was about 5'6" or 7, outjumped him. And then in the second half, Garrincha picked up the ball and he bent the ball right round the top, which was one of the first times we'd seen it bend so much, and he bent it round into the top corner.
4 years later, England staged the World Cup finals. Football had come back home.
The game wasn't born in England. The rules were born in England. I think football has always been played in some form or another throughout centuries, I think. But because England formulated the rules of the game and sold the game to the world, really, that there is a feeling that when it is in England, that England are expected to do well. And England in 1966 were expected to do well. We had a good team. We were playing on our own patch. We had our own following. We had the confidence that we could win it.
It now gives me great pleasure to declare open the 8th World Football Championship.
The 1966 World Cup, Charlton showed his true class. His powerful shooting, manoeuvrability, his rapid change of pace, and his skilled use of both his left and his right foot. He was the complete all-rounder. Germany had also produced a player of exceptional talent. His name, Franz Beckenbauer.
Suddenly, you think, who is this young, gifted player with great skill and great pace and great technique, going into dangerous positions which midfield players didn't do, especially young players. So it was decided that I should run with him all the time. And I didn't know, but he had been told exactly the same by Helmut Schön.
Charlton and Beckenbauer, two of the best footballers of all time, fought out their own personal duel at the final at Wembley Stadium.
I felt his presence all the time. He was always within a yard of me, 2 yards of me, and he must have thought exactly the same. And between us, we didn't really compete in the game.
England beat Germany 4-2 in an extremely intense game. It was the first World Cup to go into extra time. The match involved one of the most polemic moments in footballing history. Now into extra time. The shot from Jeff Hurst hit the crossbar. The ball ricocheted onto the goal line and bounced out again. The referee, consultation with the Russian linesman, Makramov, gave the goal. The decision met with somewhat great indignation from the German team. In the last minute, England sealed their victory with a 4th goal, winning the World Cup for their host country. Bobby Moore received the trophy, and the scenes of delirium amongst England fans.
Whenever I go to Germany, Franz Beckenbauer always, Bobby, what about the 3rd goal? You know, and I say, Franz, if we hadn't scored that goal, are you saying that Germany would have beaten us? Because Germany would not have beaten us, West Germany as it was then, because we had a better team. And I went last year with Sky Television, and I took the film of the 1966 World Cup, and I sat down with Franz Beckenbauer, and we both watched it for the first time in its entirety. And at the end of it all, he said to me, England wanted to win, and West Germany were just pleased to be there.
It was the swinging 60s, a time of change for both society and football. Manchester United were reborn with its star trio, Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law and George Best. The European Cup was still the ultimate goal.
When we played well, it was magic. I remember thinking, you know, that it was such a monumental tragedy for the game, and not just the world game, well, not just our own national game, but the world game, because these were young players that were just on the threshold of real greatness, and it was a tragedy. I don't think I understood at the beginning, you know, what it all meant and where it would all lead to.
words to my mother. I hope she's okay.
Yes.
And taking it well.
Look at her while you're doing it.
She hasn't been down to see me, you know, but it's a bit long way and I'm all right.
I know.
If I'd have been a bit worse off, like some of the others.
I actually was speaking to journalists and...
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking from my bed in the Isle Hospital in Munich, where I have been since the tragic accident of just over a month ago. You will be glad, I'm sure, to know that the remaining players here and myself are now considered out of date.
to be there. When we played well, it was magic. It was a big match in many ways. I have a nightmare now where the ball is knocked forward to Eusebio and he goes on our goals unchallenged and he strikes the ball and I think, here we go again, you know, we're eliminated again. But Alex Stepney, the goalkeeper, saved the ball, held it. He held it and my heart stopped. When all the old players were due to come to the function after the match. And every time I got out of bed to walk towards the door, I fainted. So I had to stay in bed.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself,
is what has given so much pleasure to so many people in different parts of the world. Whether you're rich or poor, doesn't matter what your religion, it doesn't matter what your politics. Football is a basically simple game, and it should always remain simple because while it's simple, it will be available to the mass. The masses of people throughout the world. When I got to the end of my career, I was tired mentally. I felt I was stale, you know. I didn't feel excited the same when I woke up on a Saturday morning. And I thought, well, maybe this is how you feel when you should retire. So I retired. Well, it's a great club. I feel very proud, you know, and people say, who did you used to play for? I said, I played for Manchester United. They go, oh, it must be good. No, it was great. I enjoyed every minute I was here. It's a great place to play. Theatre of dreams, they say, you see.